Hey everyone, it's your Simmer here. So, welcome to Harvest Day. You can see the field looks ready to go. So, before I get going, I noticed that we're pretty low on fuel. So, I am going to run over to the fuel station over here in the commercial district and get myself topped off. Goodness. Some crazy lag. Alright, getting pretty low. Hopefully all is good there. Yeah, we're getting low on hay, and mineral feed. But I'll be able to work with that a little bit later. Right now, my main focus is going to be getting the crop taken care of. My bigger problem I see is that rain icon. That might squash things, and in that case I'll certainly divert to topping off the cow barn and so forth. But right now I need to do everything I can to try to get this harvest in between my ability to play and the ability to not have rain. Alright, so it looks like it's just a small bit of rain, but it's happening within an hour, which kind of coincides a little bit with about where I'd be able to continue anyway. I could actually probably go for a couple hours, not quite, maybe an hour and a half. So, kind of the realities of the sim world is sometimes you get in when you can, and you can't. You can't play, you can't go forward. So, $1,147 of fuel. Yeesh. Alright, well, hopefully this will stabilize at some point. What I have never been able to really determine, is there is consistency in lag right when you start, that it just kind of goes in these little waves. And so I don't know if it's simply the map updating. I'm assuming that's what it is, because that would be the most logical thing. And so every few seconds, or however the servers work, because you can see, like, my field up there, it's still striped. It hasn't kind of fully gotten everything in. It looks like it's pretty close, because I thought those stripes would honestly go all the way across the field, and obviously they're not. But see, like, we've got lag now, and again, it could be updating parts of the map I can't see, but I'm kind of keeping the camera this way on purpose. Yeah, there you go. So see, now there are chunks of my field that got drawn in, and I'm guessing that's kind of what's happening, because even when they got drawn in, it kind of did it as, block, block, block. I mean, it was almost like a synchronized piece there. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how I best do what I need to there. So let me lower this. Again, I've got plenty of straw, so I'm not going to worry about that. Alright, so we got a bit more drawn in. It looks like we've still got a square up there that isn't ready. Gonna immediately work on my GPS line here. You see, I can back away a bit more. I can. It just seemed a little louder than normal, and obviously that was the case. But at this point, I've kind of settled into how I work the field. I run out and back on the southern end of the field here, and then go up the side, and then go ahead and work around the top once, and then kind of start coming back and forth and go from there. So nothing new on auctions. that I've seen, other than the comment about it's likely to be the first thing that is worked on once attention turns back to web coding. You know, we'll see what they look like, obviously, when we come back from revamp, like what the thought of the process is, if there's going to be changes, if they're going to be significant. I don't know that I've seen that in a way. I mean, I don't recall seeing anything that tells me the answer to that. So we'll obviously wait and see there. The other thing I'm waiting and seeing, and I did post a question in our Discord server because I'm just worried I missed something, but they had kind of said a couple days ago that by tonight, on that day, the generational servers would be updated and we should be good to go. But now we're going into, I think, the second day, so like 36 hours later. Yeah, they've added more audible alerts, as you can see. So I just hit 50%, so that's kind of that, I guess what I would call the elevator beep. I don't know what else to say about it, because to me that's what it reminds me of, is like kind of a almost an old-time elevator that's a little bit louder, just to make sure you know. So obviously at 80%, I'm sure it'll be just as forthcoming. You could call it obnoxious depending on what you think, but I guess that's going to become a new part of our FSN videos at this point. I don't know if that's something one could adjust if you're not interested in it. It's not that it's a bad thing, but obviously as I'm trying to narrate an episode, it could be a bit distracting. But I think, like anything, it just becomes kind of part of the process of playing and running through here. Alright. Trying to turn my cruise control back on, and always when I pull away from the pedal, and I think what it might be is I'm just slightly on. I haven't fully got my foot off, and so like if I was to press the there's the next beep, same beep then, so it beeps at 50 and 80. We'll see if it does it at any other point, assuming I don't run through the crop like I have a tendency to do. But yeah, as you pull your if I was to press the foot pedal again and then move off, like I've disengaged cruise control, kind of how it works in some vehicles at some points in time. It's just a way to turn it off. Alright, we're getting close to the 100 again. I'm trying to be careful this time because I don't think I've had a harvest yet where I haven't run over some crop, so there's no point in going insanely close to it. So I'm just gonna stop now because I'm obviously not going to get anywhere near the end. Goodness. I think that's a bush. No, it's a tree, so let me back up here, because otherwise the truck might get stuck somewhere. Alright, at this point, sadly, my game is kind of stuck. Yeah, my keys have stopped working. I don't understand. It took a while to bounce over, but yeah, now I'm stuck. I can't hit escape, I can't do anything. Alright, so I had to force the app to close, the game to close. I had to go out to Task Manager and end task. Then when I came in, it basically tried to tell me activation product key already in use, and then it just went to a black screen, which I've never seen before. So that's different behavior. I forced end task the game again, and now I'm in, so hopefully it'll work. This is, stuff like this is even more frustrating at times like this where I'm fighting against the clock. I'm assuming my harvester has stopped, so I'll probably pull up next to it. So you can see, obviously now the problem is the server's going to need to like re-render the field, which it'll do kind of, you know, quickly with the areas I'm nearby, but, you know, we had the whole field ready to go. No, I guess it's running. So I guess that's good. So yeah, it's just, it takes some time, obviously, to switch vehicles. And so what ended up happening, and I don't know if I caused the issue, I thought it wasn't switching, so I had like hit escape to exit again, and then when I went back to the map, it showed the arrow on the truck, and then it eventually had me in there, but suddenly I couldn't move. Like there was no response on any of the keys and so forth. And I was stuck. I've never been quite that stuck, you know. But now we're going to have to kind of live through the lag again. So I apologize for that, but I don't know that there's, you know, much else I can do about this. Whoops. It's always fun because, you know, it's turning, but PTO isn't connected, and then it's telling me, hey, turn it off before, well, the header was spinning. So as you can see, a bit of confusion for certain. Alright, so we'll try kind of another GPS set again, because obviously I've got to reset my line, because that will have been lost since I left. But anyway, I'm back. That's what happened, and, you know, I'm sure there's very little anybody can provide as guidance, because if there's anything we've learned with this game is we're all kind of at the whim of Giants and Nitrato and whatever weirdness they have happening at any given time. And again, it could be something with mods. You know, the only thing that there has been a change with the real-time sync mod, where I guess we've come up with our own version, which means that there's some sort of edits related to FS20, you know, that make it unique for FS22, whatever that is. But it is just syncing at one time. I'm assuming that's still in the 6 o'clock hour. This is later at this point. So, because if the server's at 6, obviously it's about 8. Now, I just swear I saw it go from 6:08 to 6:09 very quickly, like it had switched again, but not sure. Either way, I know when I looked at it, when I was in here at 5:50 in the server, when I looked at the real time like that, that was what it should be. So I think we're okay. I just don't know that I realized that we're 20 minutes later, but maybe we are. So just a bit discombobulating with stuff like that, where you're kind of like ready to go, getting into the flow, and then suddenly you get kicked in the rear and told, nah, not right now. But, you know, I probably wasted 5 minutes. I could have probably been up at the top of the field and gotten the headland across the top done, and instead we're back here. But very little we can do about that. I've certainly had times on the FSN farm where even I've done hours of work, the server crashes, it goes back to a reverted save, and you got to do it all again. You know, and as I said, I've also had the situations where you're ready to harvest and you can't, and then by the time, you know, same type of thing, like server boots you out and then you keep trying to get back in, it's not visible. By the time they can try to do a server reboot, your window to do anything has ended, and or the weather has moved in. So it's just kind of how this works. So you learn to understand that, and there's, you know, really nothing you can do. I mean, we can be frustrated about it, but it's kind of falls in the realm of it is what it is. Alright. So I don't think I'm gonna get over, whoops, the wrong key press again, but it worked out this time. I didn't run into the field. I almost created another. Oh no, I have not had a clean harvest again. It's so easy to do, especially when you're trying to move along quickly, because you're like, yeah, my header's up, I need to press B, and what I really needed to do was press V. It's just, and it's not like I don't use the V key to raise and lower the header normally, so why sometimes my muscle memory goes to, you gotta hit B. I don't know, but it does, and obviously it's how I've got the pattern memorized, so I keep trying to break out of it, and obviously my habit-forming centers of my brain are not cooperating. So, a little bit more lag. I'm turning the wheel a bit, so I'm worried. Alright, 80%. I mean, at this point, I think my field is fully rendered, but once again, there's, you know, a lot of fields on the map. It's a 4x map, so there's a lot going on here that it could still be working on, and that's assuming that my assumption of the reason it's doing it and lagging more in the beginning than it tends to later is that drawing of the map out, and it may not be that that's even what's happening. Alright, let's see, when do we want to back out here? Pretty soon. I might let it go all the way to, you know, 99%, and we'll reverse and we'll go from there. And again, I lift the header both for speed and the fact that you can knock some crop out with the side of the header as you turn. Alright, hopefully this will work. Alright, seems okay here. How close? I think I had a little bit of distance. I'm trying to figure out how close I was to the edge of the field there, because rather than take the time to turn around, which is slow going, versus you can see you can accelerate relatively quickly and relatively well. I'm just going to go here and go up this edge of the field and then kind of come around. I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm up and off the edge of the field now that I think about it, because I was thinking I was pulling next to the field and then I'd have to be able to do the rest of the harvesting, but that's not what's happening. So short answer is I should be okay. Oh boy. Like that long of a lag when I just started a turn again, I could suddenly end up in the field. Luckily I was not. But yeah, I'd kind of forgotten I had backed out and turned around, so I'm not really near the field here. Alright, we were only at 44%, so I should be perfectly fine. I'll be able to fill this front trailer, get the harvester fully emptied. Next time I'm going to have to stay in the truck and move. So if you've kind of been watching this at all, I mean, I've had this harvester truck combination forever at this point. You know, you'll kind of know this is basically a 4 harvester plus situation with filling the trailers. Alright, V. Yay, I did the right thing. It helps that I'm deliberately thinking about it and speaking it aloud. I don't know that you would particularly enjoy that, but hopefully it is. So yeah, while I'm going around, you know, if you haven't taken the time to click the like button on the video, I'd appreciate if you would do that. It helps get the video into the algorithm, lets the YouTube algorithm know that, hey, there's something here that people like, and obviously the more likes we get, the algorithm, I'm sure, reacts differently and says, hey, more people like this. I was pretty excited. I've seen a recent episode of something on the channel. I think got like 5 likes, which is more than typical for the general views that I've been getting lately, because I still have a pretty small audience, and you know, I would say every video is getting 20-30 views, so definitely not a ton, but absolutely every one of them is appreciated, and a humbling experience that 20 or 30 people took some time to watch some segment of whatever it was. You know, but I tend to kind of hover around 1 or 2 likes per video, so, you know, getting up to 5 is pretty incredible. It's, you know, 200% improvement or something for the most part, if not more. You know, and stuff like that also helps me determine if I've got to make a tough choice if I'm running tight on time. Like, what do I not want to let slip? Because if I'm seeing that there's interest in something, you know, and I think that 5 like video may have been one of the PGA Tour videos, so that content definitely seems to be resonating a bit with some folks, and to some degree, I think it's because I really haven't come across anybody actively playing and showing everything they're doing. So I think, once again, whatever segment of the audience it is that has that interest, I think as they've come upon what I'm doing, I'm growing that viewership. And so similarly, you know, there's going to be certain people who like this content, but the way it gets in front of more people is however YouTube determines that these are the people that watch Farming Simulator Let's Play videos, and hey, let's serve this up to them. The more likes there are, I think that improves things. Similarly, the subscriber base, bigger the subscriber base, I think that factors into it as well. So if you're not a subscriber, I'd humbly ask you to consider that. It doesn't really do anything. It certainly doesn't cost you anything, and it just lets you find the channel more directly, and therefore be able to very quickly look and see what new content has appeared since the last time you visited, as opposed to having to search for the channel or hope a video comes up in your feed. So, enough of that housekeeping, but if you would do those things, I would greatly appreciate it. Alright, so at this point I've gone all the way around, and this is now where we just transition into the normal harvesting cycle of moving up and down, and now we're just wondering when it's going to rain. So I am going to keep moving along here and keep doing the harvest, and I will return the next time I feel I've got something worthy to share. That may be when the rain sets in. It may be all the way at the end when I'm fully done. I don't know, but I will see you in a bit. Alright, so the rain has rolled in. You can see about where I'm at. Really got maybe a third of the field, maybe a little more done. I've done 1 truckload, and pretty close here with another. But at this point, it's time to stop. So I'm going to have to step away for a bit. The good news is I've got a few months to get this off the field in case I need it. So that's the nice thing versus something like grass where you want to cut it all and get it growing right away. With the normal harvest cycle, you've got your full harvest window, and so the grains have a pretty big one, even though this finally ripened now. I still have, I think, October and November that I could go ahead if I need to, if I can't get to it later today, but I should be able to finish up. So at some point I'll return and I'll let you know how things are going. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so just finishing up, just under 300,000. So 298,119 is what I ended up with for the amount of barley. Just gotta switch that. Disconnect. I always run into that. I'm glad it gives me the warning, because otherwise it might like disconnect the back trailer, and trying to grab those is always quite challenging. So I'm gonna move. I'm just gonna get 50,000 liters of milk into the tanker here, and that'll be it, because I'm at the point again where I need to step away, but I'm full at 500,000. And actually, maybe what I'll do, no, I'm just gonna do that. I was gonna say maybe I'll move some to the dairy, because I know the dairy's not doing anything, but I'm not at a point where I'm gonna be able to do much with moving the cheese, so I'll worry about that later if I move other milk. So, I'm still okay. You know, 20,000 in hay. I'm gonna have to move it today just to be safe, but I'm probably gonna do that stuff once it's dark on the server. So, not much for you to see then, but just giving you the info now of, hey, this is what I'll be doing. So, I may sell some more milk, and may even sell the cheese or whatever, but you can kind of see where I'm at. I'm over 3.2 million at this point. And there we go. We'll put it here, and then that'll give me enough opportunity, as you can see here, to now put things in. I'm getting close on the slurry too. I think I have about 10,000 left. So, pretty good day, but glad I could get that done, and I will see you next time.